Hi, I'm Eliana and welcome back for another process video. This actually comes from the November-December Quirky Kits and was requested by the amazing Jen Box on my video, which was the Quirky Kits January-February box opening, where I did a layout share of about 9 layouts and asked you, the audience, yes you, and the offer's still open to you, to select which of the videos you might like to see and whether you'd want them out of turn. And Jen selected Shine Always, so I've decided to present this one for you all. And so basically what it is a layout of my son Elias on his way home from nursery school just outside our home, and he ran inside, doffed his jacket and ran back out to present what you can't really see is the Christmas lights in the window. And so I've decided to use a kind of silvery and white effect background on that blue paper that came in the kit so that it would on some level emulate the snow. I love that Amy Tangerine stitched paper, the whole collection actually, it's really lovely, muted colours. And so, not that you would think so because I'm just ripping into it here, but the idea is that I'm going to be sewing some zigzag stitching in a while to give it a bit more texture, and because it is called Stitched after all. So the Kaisercraft paper there that I'm using in the wood effect is also really gorgeous because it's a very subtle type of wood. And we have got a bit of wood panelling at the top there that Elias appears to be pointing towards. And so I just wanted to emulate that, which will be going on the top left of the page. And I have decided to give it a bit of a snow effect, even though it wasn't snowing that day, and the pewter for texture. So those two inks are what I'm swiping across the tops of all of those individual rectangles. And I do find that these bottles with their sponge applicators are really easy for doing that. As you saw, I was just swiping across the bottom there as well. I've left the other 3 edges to the 12 by 12 paper open. I didn't really want it all framed, but just to, well, you can hardly see it really, but the pewter lining at the bottom there to ground it somewhat. Really nice to use if you don't want to get your hands mucky with a makeup sponge and a normal distress ink, because I don't have the applicator, even though I really ought to by now have one. So my go-to is the bottles very often. And for varied interest, I've chopped up these wood panels, as it were, into little strips and placed those underneath each other. Later on you'll also see that I'll be using some clear square, not pop dots, but you know, square kind of glue adhesive to just give some relief to each of those panels, even when they're in a sleeve. I cannot remember where this striped pyjama page came from. On the back it's got loads of red love love love, as you just saw there, and I love it. So I'm using that to map the pictures up with. The pictures I have are not the best quality. They came from my computer before I had the selfie, but it's what I used to have to use if I wanted to use any contemporary pictures, because what I used to do was send a whole batch of pictures to print and they would come back 6x4 format, and that was lovely. And now what I've got is tons and tons of those historical pictures. Well, not that historical, of the boys that I'm still trying to work through. And what I'm finding a little bit easier now is to just pick the pictures I actually want to scrapbook and just print those out on the selfie. So I'm eternally grateful to my husband for buying me that. And the vellum piece that says home base on the top that you just saw me stick there is an interesting word here in the UK. It represents for me a hardware store, so it doesn't give the kind of warm fuzzy feeling as it might probably ought to do, but it, you know, why not reclaim it? It says home base and we are outside home, so it worked very well for me there, and I wasn't going to use it anywhere else. So as you can see, I'm kind of flying through the stitching. That lovely shiny iridescent thread did come in the kit, so I did want to use it, and I'm just kind of showing you that and how I've sellotaped the back. I sometimes washi with a kind of less favourite washi, but sellotape is a better go-to for me because I find washi to be a bit of a premium here in the UK for the pricing. And the 3 arrows I selected there, I thought I'd just loosely kind of layer them up on my layout from the vellum cutter path sheet there, and just eventually now committing down some of the clusters and parts of the page that I want to put in place. At one point I did think I was going to use two words, both shine and hello, from the wood veneer wording. Sorry I've forgotten the brand of that. In the end I've just gone with the word shine and removed hello, but I did also incorporate the word always from the Amy Tangerine rub-ons, and you'll see me do that later. This kind of bunting piece, if you like, or a flag, or whatever you want to call it, I forget the branding of that as well, but it seems to have a monkey on it and is gorgeous actually. Nice brown frame, as well as some really faint almost ledger sheet print on it, on a very stark white background. So it's not cream against brown, it's actually white on brown, and I really liked that about it. And the wood kind of effect tag is like almost cartoon wood. It looks really sweet, so I've liked the fact that I could incorporate there behind that as a bit of a layer. And I have a sticker just in my hand there, and I think I do eventually use it. Oh yes, it's the one that's got the days of the week, but just the initial caps of the days of the week, and you'll see that I do find a place for that just after I stick down this whole thing. I'll be tucking that in just under the picture. Perhaps not now, but in a moment I will. Those Amy Tangerine rub-ons were quite tricky for me to use. I found I really had to work them in and use the popsicle stick a lot over it, because as I was lifting up the plastic to check, I found that it hadn't really adhered all that well. Those are the clouds I'm just sticking down there behind the picture. Just grey kind of clouds are really nice. And yeah, they didn't go on quite so much like butter as the crepe paper notes and things that I really enjoyed using. I've still got a few left of, but I suppose a bit more like butter on cold toast, but they really were lovely anyway. No complaints. All in all, I don't mind giving it a bit of extra work, because once they were worked, they did stick beautifully. Maybe it's my technique, who knows. And the word hi, you can probably see just on the top as well, next to the word home base, is one of the, I keep wanting to call them badges. To me, they're just little badges, but they're not, are they? What are they called? The word will come to me. And you all know anyway. Not pins either. What are they? That's really annoying me now. Flares. Flare badges, I suppose, or flare pins. So that's the Amy Tangerine Always to create the other part of the title, Shine Always. Because the idea is he's actually showing us the Christmas lights, and he himself, you know, he's a shiny little personality, and I wanted to capture that somehow as well. Now, the other thing I did have was quite a lot of pre-cut or pre-die cut tags and tickets and things that I just had kicking around, and I did want to incorporate those, partly because, although you can see they're glaring terribly at the moment, is the fact that they do shine, and it worked well with the title in my opinion, but I have tried to tuck them and make them a little bit more subtle, just so that they don't take over the page and vie for too much of their attention. And in fact, on some of those you'll see that I layer up some wording, the words scarf, hat and gloves in a moment with some of those beige words, and then I'll be crossing out the words scarf and gloves to reveal only hat, since that's all that he was wearing apart from his kind of day clothes. And yeah, so I am going to town really with the stickers now, and those are just stars that I'm popping underneath the wood panels, underneath the flare pin. And some of the other ones are, that's it, the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'll be circling T for Thursday. That one there that I'm just popping down is bright and day, because it was. And I still carry on with those. There I'm putting play outside, since that was what we were doing. And then the love this from the other sticker set. And right here I'm placing down the words I said I would, scarf, hat, gloves, over the silver ticket. Do apologise for that glare. And down there is just XOXO, and just off the page a little bit is some chevrons. And on that I'm crossing out the words as I said I would. I'm just highlighting T for Thursday in the red and writing the 11th of December 14 in the red. in one of the blue Tim Holtz pens, which I only have a collection of 5, and they're all different shades of blue. I'm writing Elias's name, ... and then the journaling, which says, "It was cold outside, but as soon as we got home from nursery and opened the front door, you flung the coat off and ran back outside to show the lights. Kiss, kiss, kiss." And just as I go to select another flare pin there, I must just say it's really rather bizarre how I can see just the edge of my legs. I've got the camera at a funny angle, and I'm clearly wearing pyjamas. What can I say? Sometimes that's the way you got to scrap. And just now, actually, I'm tucking in a bit of the twine that came with the kit in the beautiful tones of grey and white, as I just wanted to give those tags a little bit of pop as well. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to say now, thanks ever so much for watching. Feel free to select your own layout from my kit, kit's opening and layout share video, and scroll right to the end if you just want to catch which one to select. And I look forward to seeing you again in the near future with another video, and hopefully one that you've selected. Bye for now.